Telecommunications company is hoping that a new reward will help stop thieves. Chris Bryant tells us who's behind this reward and the ways that you can help identify the thieves.
And these areas that are commonly targeted are abandoned houses, utility work sites, or new construction zones.
AT&T says there have been at least 4,000 instances of copper theft to its nationwide network so far in 2025, costing the company approximately $40 million. And theft in Missouri so far this year has cost nearly $2.25 million. So AT&T is offering rewards up to $20,000 that help lead to the arrest and conviction of those involved with copper theft here in Missouri.
Utility workers or anybody that owns a utility usually wears uniforms or some kind of, they're uniform across the board, right? Their vehicles are marked.
In August, the price of copper set at $4.50 per pound, which is down from a record high in July. Places in Missouri that buy copper scrap must keep detailed records, including the seller's ID and a description of the transaction. Missouri State Highway Patrol says if you see something suspicious, report it.
If you see something, call it in. In the world of technology being in your hand, you can capture a photo. You can do something to document it. You don't need to put yourself in harm's way.
Sergeant Young says there are ways to protect your property from becoming a victim.
Increase visibility of the area, right? Use more lighting, bring in lighting if you need to. Have post signs stating that the area is under surveillance. No one committing crime wants to be caught on video, right?
Chris Bryant, KY3 News.